Hey guys, round 15 is around the corner. But before that, let's see what happened in round 14.
We start with the credit bank, the performance is top or worst performances via credit on round 14. Guard position. So here on the left hand side, we have the overperformance that increased the credits most. Highlight for us a couple of people. So Washington, he's just 9.9 credits, and now it seems he's going to have the ball in his hands and actually pretty much able to do whatever he wants. As a result, in just 18 minutes, he managed to have 34 fantasy points, and that's with him losing 4 free throws. So in reality, he may have even higher upside just in 18 minutes. So we think below 10 credits is probably the best option right now for guard position. Thompson, he seems to finding back his form. An amazing game, 30.8 fantasy points. With 12.3 credits, he will be a player that we could trust to give us something between 18-20, hopefully. So we think it's still a decent option. And then finally, something below even the 7 credits. Brizuela got some minutes and he managed to get the most out of them, 19.8 points with just 14 minutes on the court. Now on the right hand side, there is only one big name that we will highlight, and that's Kendrick Nunn. He had an off game. Usually when he has off games, he bounces back with massive games. He's very expensive, but at least on a discount versus the previous week. Let's move then to forward position. Here we have Luau Cabarro again, great performance. So we think he's back to his norm for this year. 12.4 credits is quite good for his consistency throughout the year. So we will select him. Mind also this was just in 21 minutes. And then of course under 10 credits we have Lucic. He could be a gamble because he's not so consistent, but still is a decent selection, as Mitch is also a decent selection. I would say for both of these players, perhaps they contain a bit of a risk, so worth looking who is their opponent and whether this game suits them. Then we keep an eye on Clyburn, as he had a very good production, and see whether now is a change of pace and we see the Clyburn we've seen at the start of the year. So we keep an eye on that. Now let's go on the right hand side. Leday, not a great game, but he's very cheap. We just keep that in mind. We're gonna have also to keep an eye to see whether he bounces back, because for some of the players in Milan, maybe the departure of Messina plays a role on the psychology, so we keep an eye on that. And then we have Petrusev. We think is potentially a must with now this discount and with the opponent on the next game. And of course Nora is on discount, but is a derby, and also he didn't really have a great game, as you can see, so we're a little bit hesitant on this one, but worth keeping an eye. Moving on to center position, Jones, he seems now to have also the freedom, or I don't know, things in Partizan were quite strange, but at least he's playing. So for 15.2 from expensive ones, I think he has the momentum at least. So seems to be a good option, especially when we know the absences at the center position for Cervena Zvezda that they play the next game. Oturu seems to be bouncing back, so we keep an eye. If he has another good game like that, he will be a must, a return on the must. And finally, Diouf, we mentioned him many times, pretty much every week. He's been very decent for anything below 8.5 credits. As you see, he keeps increasing credits, so we stick with him as well. Worth mentioning also Diop for below around 6 credits is also a decent option, for a filler in your team if that's what you're going for at the center. On the other hand, we have Kabengele being on a discount, and we have Farid also on a discount. Potentially both of them have games that they could bounce back. And that's it for the credit bank this week. Let's move on to see how we did in this round 14. Wasn't a great, was it?
No, I think it was an opposite day. It was the opposite round for us. As you see, somehow we managed to have players with a negative value. Farid, minus 5 fantasy points. Maciulis, what a surprise. Zalgiris was never in the rhythm of the game. Just Maccabi came into the tournament just on the game. So coach minus 10, then also Herrera minus 1, but also the key point, Brian just 11 fantasy points, Nora as a captain 14. So nothing really worked for us for round 14. Just keep in mind that the second best is Milutinov in a game that never played in terms of fantasy points. But as you see, Lvavuka Baro is one of the consistent players for us, so 26.4 fantasy points. We will see later on, but we thought a lot of changes. We will see what we did. And should we move on with the coach, or do you want to add anything?
I just want to mention one thing because of the opposite day. Let's say that Francisco, that he managed to get 15 fantasy points. He came out of a 35 consecutive games with at least one 3-pointer, and he managed to miss them all. So that's how opposite was this game, this round. But yeah, let's go on and see what we need to do in order to bounce back. And we start with the coach of the week. And here we are trying to get a very cheap option to help us build the team. But also looking at, the calendar, most of the games are quite unpredictable. And here we have Golemats with just 5.2 credits. Dubai have a good home record. And on the other hand, Bayern, they really struggle out of home. So we think it's a great matchup for Dubai. And that's why we're going with Coach Golemats. And that allows us to build the team a little bit.
Yes, and as you see, Sasha Vezenkov is back in our team with 17.4 credits. We just said, okay, Noara didn't work out. Maybe later on if he keeps and he finds his momentum again. But for the moment, we wanted to bring Vezenkov back. As well as Nando De Colo. He is pure joy to watch him now to play. He reminds of the times in CSKA Moscow or Fenerbahce. So he's that, you just see the pure talent of a player on the court and the leadership that he has. So we brought De Colo instead of Bryant, and then we brought Diouf instead of Farid. Diouf, as Bill mentioned, with 8.4 credits, is for a center position a must-have, basically, because all the other prices you have to spend a lot to bring a center. So these were the three players we wanted to bring in. Coach Golemats as well with 5.2 credits. And then we kept Lvavuka Baro and Francisco. That was another dilemma that we had, but due to the fact that Zalgiris is playing versus Paris, we kept Francisco because he will have to keep up scoring. Also, you see Marcos. He just had 6.6 fantasy points, but Barcelona is playing without La Provitola, so Marcos is getting the minutes, and he is productive. Milutinov is here to stay, as well as Osmani, and we just kept Herrera because we didn't have any more changes to make. So, as you see, the first five lineup, they're all playing away games, but the matchups allow us to give and trust these players for our team. Also, we have 1.3 credits left to use for round 16. Bill, do you want to add something?
Yeah, so Diouf, it was an option that we considered due also to the low credits that allow us to really bring both Vezenkov and the Kolo in the team. He does have a tough matchup because he has to play against two very decent centers, Motley and Oturu, but Virtus at home is almost a powerhouse. Very also strange game. We get the only undefeated team on home court playing with the number one in the standing. So it's gonna be a tough matchup, but we trust him at least to deliver something. And for us, it's really the key to unlock the potential of this team. Our captain for turn one is the Kolo due to the matchup with Maccabi and due to him doing it all really for as well. And for the second turn, potentially we'll have to struggle between Milutinov and Vezenkov, so it will be a last-minute selection from us. In terms of other options, as always, you can find them in the Real Hoopers Hub website. And any questions, comments, you can write below. See you next time and enjoy this round.
Yeah, guys, enjoy round 15 and see you soon.